What's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another player interview. This time we've got Chris, friend of the channel. What's going on, Chris?
Nothing much, man.
So
How are you?
I'm pretty good. Chris is actually a player from Hawaii, which is pretty dope. I mean, man, I would love to head out there for an event. So hopefully that happens soon. But yeah, he actually he PM'd me about this deck. That's actually a really interesting deck that I haven't seen anywhere else in basically all of Dragon Ball. I mean, it's playing a card that I never thought like could be, or at least I couldn't figure out like a good usage for it. So we'll get into that once we get into the deck profile. But I mean, Chris, give us a little overview of like how you came to figure out this deck.
So I kind of build everything. I always break down the set, look at cards that aren't in the mainstream deck, and try to at least figure out something with them. And I haven't seen anyone post anything about Hidden Feelings.
Right.
And I just bought a cell chain from someone, and I'm like trying to figure out how to make it work. And Shenron's kind of the only good wish leader. So it kind of fit into place. And then once I started building it, the other pieces started falling in, and it's almost like it was supposed to be,
Yeah, I mean, Hidden Feelings, like I've always like that's basically, I think that's pretty much what the deck is based around. If correct me if I'm wrong, but like that card, I've read it and it's just like, wow, I'm never gonna want to hard cast this in any Android deck, And it's like I never really put thought into like Android Rush, but like anyone who's been a fan of the channel for a while knows that like I really like Android Rush. It's a really great budget deck. So actually, this is gonna be a really cool kind of continuation of that series. This will actually be the third kind of Android Rush budget deck on the channel, which is actually pretty cool. And it is like a budget deck, right? For the most part.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap. I mean, obviously you can bling it out, especially when the 3-drop gets his foil in a couple months. So, but yeah, it's cheap to build. If you want to do the demi-graw, it's a little unnecessary because you're not really trying to get to that turn 5 as much.
So what's like a typical kill turn? Like turn 4-ish is like typical kill turn?
Turn 4 is definitely like your kill turn, because like if you're going to play any kind of 5 kill turn Shenron deck, you might as well just be playing Gogeta.
Right, right.
Yeah. And so it's basically like trying to fine tune as many decks to be fatal as before Gogeta, otherwise there's no reason.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to play a little lower to the ground, which this deck looks like it does really well, especially on turn 4. You probably get off like a massive amount of swings. But let's go through the deck profile real quick. So 7 Dragon, like we're playing Shenron leader. I mean, it's the best wish leader by far, and 7 Dragon Balls. So I mean, this definitely isn't like a typical hand control cell deck by any means, but like you're playing a lot of crit in the deck. So did you ever think about like the 1-star balls for more hand control?
I've considered it, definitely. I guess I was gonna put like 1 or 2 in on the initial thing, but I was like, if I wanted to keep that 1 energy just for playing against Storm or any kind of rush, I could at least combo off the dead cells in hand on that first turn, just to kind of be more of a safety net.
Right.
So, and then because I'm not really focusing on hand control, I didn't really feel it was super necessary, because I'm probably going to be pushing for double strikes and keeping their hand up anyway. So I'd rather have the Dragon Balls to not have to get into awkward situations of tapping an energy.
For sure. And then you got 2 of the Dangerous Journey Bulma. So realistically, it's only like 1-drop play in the deck, but you actually mentioned to me a kind of nifty combo you can do with it. So why don't you talk about that a little bit?
So yeah, that's the reason why I also play Power Burst over other negates, is so I can still recycle her.
Okay.
She's good for the Janemba matchup, and then she puts your cell pieces and your androids back in the deck. So, the notorious thing that Cell does is they always get in your hand, and then you can never really play them. You might get one off.
Right.
So it's good to be able to combo them off, which is why I play like the main cells, is just to combo them off and then put them back with Bulma for the grindier wish matchups.
Fair enough. And then you kind of talked about it already a little bit with Power Burst, but did you ever try out like full power energy in the deck? Because I mean, I think your green count is totally fine at 30, but something like full power energy may be a little bit more helpful in the Storm matchup. So have you ever tested it out?
I haven't tested full power out yet. If I did, I'd probably side it, just because, with the Silver Bullets coming up soon, I didn't want to overbuild against Storm when for starters, this isn't something I would take to a major event, I don't think.
Right,
and
right.
and I'm trying to like build a little more in advance with this build.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, Storm, a lot of people definitely think, and I'm kind of one of those people that think Storm is going to kind of fall off a bit once Clash of Fates comes out, so I can definitely see that.
Yeah, I mean, I see like people probably don't really want to play Storm, but they know it's the easiest way. So if they can have any excuse to not play it, they'll probably will, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's gonna be very difficult to play that deck once all those cards come out. Yeah. Then we have 4 Child's Wish, so it's definitely a Child's Wish strategy. So I mean, just talking a little bit about the curve of the deck, like it seems like you're just trying to spam androids up all the way till like turn 4, right?
Yeah, so usually like, you know, turn 2, I'm gonna put out my Forceful Strike Cell if possible, and it's good because you put the androids underneath it, so like if you force them, if they like go beat over the cell, they're easy Child's Wish targets. And then I'll try to sit on one or two on that 2 to 3 turn play, and then on turn 4, you know, 3 androids, and then that's when I go for the kill turn. And that's why I play the Android 20 Vile Creator, because he gives it double strike and 5k for the whole turn.
Oh wow! So when you restand them, they still have the double strike and the 5k, huh?
Yeah. So yeah, you restand with your twin sister 18, your triple attack Shenron, and so that's kind of where I really liked it was the Android 20 being able to be like a 1-turn Champa for as many attacks as that droid has. So
that's actually insane. Wow. So you just go like Hidden Feelings, and like you restand Twin Sister 18, like so you can do the typical like Twin Sister 18 attack, 17 attack, restand at 17 with Twin Sister's effect, and then like Hidden Feelings and like do it again. So realistically, like Hidden Feelings can generate like potentially like 4 more extra attacks at some points, right?
Yeah, and you know, let's say you're going for your kill turn. So let's say you have Dreadful Duo and Twin Sister. You know, you do the triple attack. If you wanted to hard cast on turn 4, because ideally you want a Child's Wish or get your androids out on turn 2 and 3, because you don't really want to hard cast on turn 4 unless you need to.
Right.
But yeah, you get your Dreadful Duo 17 and your Twin Sister, attack with the duo, do the Vile Creator, so it's already a double strike the first time, attack with the 18, restand the 17, and then give the 17 triple attack. So that's what, 6 attacks, with 5 of them being double strike crit.
That's actually pretty insane. Holy crap. Yeah.
So that's kind of, yeah, and that's why I didn't play the other cell chain as much, because really I ideally just want to use the cell chain just to be board control, to kill pop Shenrons and other basically wish decks, because that's probably going to be the most played deck going forward.
Yeah.
So it's just to kind of have that board control, and then on the kill turn just focus on the androids. Yeah,
definitely. Me and my friend Larry's kind of like the mad scientist on the channel. Like he comes up with all the wacky deck interviews that we do, but we've been talking a lot about different decks that you can just play the 3-drop into the 5-drop in. Like, you know, you're missing out on the perfect 4 cell, but just 3-drop into the 5-drop, I mean, you still draw a card and pop a card. So cool engine to play outside of even just a cell chain deck. But yeah, so I mean, we kind of jumped around a lot. So let's talk quickly through the ratios for different androids. So why only 2 Endless Malice 17?
Because I don't really want to burst as much.
Right.
He's just kind of an extra name to have, and he already, you know, the kill turn, the 3-drops already have critical, so the fact that he becomes a 15k by bursting, you know, I don't really want to stand him and keep attacking with him, so he's good to have for that turn 2 play, just to get the 17. And I could have played 4 Energy Guard, but I felt like that was just too overkill for the blockers.
Yeah,
because I'm not gonna like stall as much. Yeah, so it was just kind of to have a 2 and 2 split, to have 8 17s, because he's the more important one.
For sure. Then we have the 2 double strike Android 20. You ever feel like you need more of this card or no?
I've kinda, sorta. I was thinking about bumping up to 3, but as you can see, the deck is kind of tight on
definitely.
space. Because then I thought about bumping Hidden Feelings down to 2, but then it kind of, hurts the consistency of that kill turn being the purpose of the deck.
Yeah.
So I felt like it was fine enough.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. I mean, Hidden Feelings being your win condition, you definitely want to at least have 3 of them for sure.
Right.
And then Evil Lifeform Cell, we talked about going into the 5-drop. So why do you play Forceful Strike Cell? Let's talk about that first.
So he's a revenge double strike, and then the really cool effect is when you attack with him during your opponent's defensive combo step, you get to burn a card from their combo. So you force them to overplay. They don't really want to attack into it as much because it has revenge, and you can, they're an uphill battle for the offensive combo.
Right.
So he's good for that early turn, because the other thing too is if you don't have your double strike Android 20, he's a good early pressure against Shenron decks and other decks that you can get down to like 4 life by your turn 3, and then that way it takes a little more pressure off of having to have the double strike.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, the more I think about it and look at it, it's like you mentioned getting it out turn 2 with like Child's Wish, and that's actually like a 20k double strike revenge is actually really difficult for like any deck realistically on their 2nd or 3rd energy to deal with. I mean, outside of like an overown play. So it's actually really, really cool. And the fact that he's like a 2-drop almost like Annie Laza, that's pretty cool.
Right. Plus he gets to rip a card out of their combo on either player's turn. So like when they're attacking you, so just like it makes it to where he really sits on the board. He doesn't really go anywhere unless they play removable, which I think with him being a 5-drop, it's just kind of Mask Saiyan is really, I guess, Broly if you're playing the hand control, but
Yeah, no, it's definitely tough.
Yeah.
Like for more of the relevant decks, it's definitely pretty difficult actually. And then we talked about it a little bit, but let's talk about it here a little. Why no Infernal Villainy Cell?
So it's just like on the turn 1, like he's good to combo with, but just because he's just critical, I don't really need to draw as much because the cell gets me there with the draw, and he's still a combo card. Like the 5-drop Evolving Evil and Forceful Strike to put back in the decks. So I was playing Infernal Villainy, but I felt like I'd rather have 4 of the 5-drops, and I just didn't want to overdo it on the 10Ks.
Right, definitely.
In the deck, he's good though. I don't know how many would you consider playing, because I've played around with 2 of them.
Yeah, 2 is the number I was thinking, and like you said, the deck space is pretty tight. I mean, looking at it right this second, I don't necessarily know what. Maybe the Endless Malices would come out in place of the 2 cells. The only thing I really like about it is the fact that it's you can play it off your Growing Evil Lifeform. It's a draw 1 when you play it, and it's a critical. So like with Android 20 Vial Creator, it's like a 25k double strike crit, which is really cool. I mean, but you get that for for technically cheaper cost, depending with your androids. So maybe not necessarily in the deck, but definitely a cool card to consider.
But yeah, we could always potentially like knock the 18 count down, because you could play 6 18s because they're really the only way that you're using them is just with the Evolving Evil. So that I could see that as a potential, because 7 is a little high for just doing 1 or 2 absorbs.
Yeah, so and then for the 18s, I think I actually really like the ratios. I mean, maybe 4 Dreadful Duos is a lot, but like the fact that you can bring it out cheaply on the 17 is pretty good. And then of course the Twin Sister 17, from what you've been talking about the deck, like makes me see that that's like actually one of the more crucial pieces of the deck, right?
And then the other cool thing is, with the Dreadful Duo 17 and the 18, their 1 energy cost abilities are more active, since you can kind of cheat out your cells with Child's Wishes.
Right.
Because realistically, Shenron awakens turn 2 to turn 3 if it's bad.
Right.
And then being able to just tap the 1 green energy with the Dreadful Duo 18 and then play Twin Sister attack with her and then restand the 17. So like I feel like you get more use out of the green drops than just them being cell fodder like in the other builds that you see.
Right, absolutely. So why don't you walk us through like the typical curve of the deck? So like, let's just say you go first, then like take us through like turns 1 through 4 if you can.
So turn 1 is usually just a charge and pass because you use that and your Dragon Balls because you use that opportunity to just have that open energy in case like they try to go ham on you like turn 1. Let's assume you go second at the worst case scenario with them having 2 energy, Storm. At least having 1 energy open is safer, so I'd rather not play anything that taps that. And then on my turn 2, usually I've already got the 7 Dragon Balls in on turn 2 because I hard mull for them. Mm-hmm. That's when you comboed the cell to get it in the discard, and then you Child's Wish it back to get the 5-drop cell, pop whatever they put on the board, like the Go 10, if they didn't want to attack you with it. Because they'll attack you with Hirudegarn. Because realistically, when I build any deck, it's with the assumption I'm playing against Storm.
Right.
So you combo the cell against that, and then pop whatever they have on board, and then start putting the pressure on there. And then turn 3 is when I usually I'll cast the Endless Malice 17, so I still have energy open, just to kind of leave him on there. So then on my turn 4, I can get a Dreadful Duo out, just to kind of have a big board presence. Because usually I keep the Forceful Strike on there. In the testing I've had, people really just don't want to attack it, and it's good against blockers because they usually don't want to block against it either.
Right.
But that's kind of like, it's pretty straightforward on the playthrough on the turn 2 and 3. That's why I play the Energy Guard 17 too, is just in case I want to play with an aggressive blocker. Mm-hmm. He was just kind of like the best option. But I've done a couple of cell chain, like 2 cell chains, because they will use something to pop the evolving life form. So sometimes I won't go into the Forceful Strike. I'll just stay on the evolving to give them reason to kind of get over it.
Right.
And then that way I can Child's Wish the cell back on the turn 3 and then go into Forceful Strike, because that's realistically 4 damage. Mm-hmm. So I focus more on the double strike early advantage from turn 2 to turn 3. And then turn 4 is when I bring out the androids to go for the fatal.
Yeah, and I mean, just like the way we talked about it a second ago is like having like the Twin Sister and the Dreadful Duo 17, and then restanding the 17 twice, and then potentially giving it triple strike with your leader, and on top of like Hidden Feelings, that sounds like it just gets absolutely nuts.
Yeah, and that's the good thing about the deck too, is like I don't feel so heavily reliant on Hidden Feelings because of Twin Sister 18 and giving a triple attack. So it's not a win more card because it really is important, but the whole deck doesn't fall apart if I don't see it.
Right, and that's
which is
part of consistency.
Yeah, because when I build, usually I like the idea of playing late game finishers like Gogeta, the secret rares, and my friends are always like, you need to start building more mid-range. So this was kind of like the ideal mid-range deck, I feel, for Shenron, because I notice when I play against Shenron a lot, other than the really gimmicky builds that have been coming up lately where they just play wish.deck with Child's Wish targets only and don't care about the energy.
Right.
Everything's like late game. So this is my idea of trying to build an earlier game Shenron.
Yeah, man. Super solid deck. I mean, any final thoughts about the deck you want to get out there?
Well, in the side, you can see, there's the just options. So you could play Demigra if you want to try to go to turn 5. But again, it's a little unnecessary. And then the 16 Revenge blocker I thought about too. But the space is tight. So the side game is a little hard because you don't want to hurt the consistency.
Right.
But other than that, yeah, I'm pretty happy with the deck. I just actually got the last pieces in today to max rarity it, so
nice. Yeah, the Dreadful Duo foils are super nice. I love those.
Oh
foils.
yeah, and the forceful strike cells are, like set one foils, and they're $4 each, which for old foils, that I feel like that's pretty expensive considering.
Yeah, I mean,
some of the ones are like $1.
Yeah, I mean, especially considering that this card doesn't really see play in many strategies. But yeah, man, super cool deck. Really awesome to have that you let me profile on the channel. So thank you again for that. Any any final shout outs you want to throw out there?
Just shout outs to Team Finnick and Taj and Jared. They're my main testing partners. And and shout out to Crossworld for hosting it. You're the best channel out there. So,
dude, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. If you guys are in the Hawaii area playing Dragon Ball Super, hit up Chris. If he's cool with it, I'll leave some of his contact info in the description so you guys can reach out to him. He's trying to grow the player base out there, so in Hawaii. So we'll do that if he's cool with it. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name's Joey, and Chris joined us tonight, and we will see you next time.